Hi, I'm Emily Hancock, filming for the Training Barn. We're here today in Sway in the New Forest, and we're going to do specifically a yard-based shoot today. So we have an owner and her horse, and what we're going to do first is look around for various locations where I might quite like to take photographs. We're going to wander around, and as we do, I'll stop and explain why I see things and how I envisage they might work for the photo shoot. It's really important that when we walk around, I have the client or the owner of the yard with me so that we can make sure that I'm told where we can and can't go to photograph. Quite often there are maybe fields that we can't access, or nice lawns, or whatever it might be. I just need to make sure that we're told where we can and can't shoot. So this is Faye, the owner of the yard, and I'm going to be photographing her and her horse this morning. We're just on the location scouting bit of the morning, and what I always do when I'm driving up to a yard, sort of the last half mile, I will be looking out of my car window thinking, oh, what's coming up? You know, is there a nice road? Is there a nice gravel track, a pathway coming up somewhere? And I'll always be on the lookout for what's leading up to the yard. So here we're at the front of the house, and actually, as you can see behind me or over the top of me is a really nice tree, and there's a nice gate. The house is beautiful behind, and actually if we come over this way, there are some beautiful flowers in the garden of Coombe House, and so this is actually going to be a really gorgeous location to shoot in with a horse. Now, I don't know whether you could see there's actually a car behind the gate, so I will ask if they can move it so that we can get in there without the car. I'm just also looking the nice brick wall down here. There's nice long grasses all the way along the road. So I've got my little book, and I will write down this as a location. So I'll just put front of house / gate. And that will just remind me, because as we walk round, I'll find lots and lots of different locations. And if I think halfway through the photo shoot that I'm going to get a bit of creative block, I'll just look at my notes and see where I can go next. So I'm really pleased actually, because that looks gorgeous. So we'll carry on walking and see where we get to next. What I might just say as well, often on roads you can get a nice natural frame in the trees. So quite often with horses, if you get the owner and the horse to walk up the road and photograph the natural frame, it can be quite beautiful. So I will actually write down on my pad road, because it can be pretty nice. All right. So I'm always looking side to side. What can I see? What flowers can I see? What foliage can I see? And one thing that strikes me now, we're in July, and all the long grasses and the greens are looking beautiful, and the flowers are out. So this is the front driveway, and actually, if you look, there are tons of yellow, purple, pink, beautiful flowers all along this driveway. And so actually, if we can get the right angle, and it might be that I go and shoot from the other side pointing down, that we can get something quite beautiful here. So I'll put driveway, and I can just see over to this side there's a smallish field, but it's got a quite dense tree and hedge line at the back here, which also could be nice. So I will write down field hedge. That will just jog my memory, and if I get stuck, I might think, oh, I'll just go and use that location. So I may not use all of these. sorry. Just a tractor going past. I might not use all of these locations, but at least if I've got them, then I can refer back to them. So we'll keep walking. Faye, can we use the front of the house?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we walk across there? Is that all right? I always like to look at the buildings. Initially you would think you'd probably stay away from them, you'd go into the fields or go for the foliage, but in actual fact there can be some quite beautiful houses and walls. So right at the front here of this house I've spotted well, some nice purple flowers, but also these kind of, I don't know, it looks sort of French balcony type thing with a nice bench and some pink flowers over here, and the doorway is pretty nice, the green. So I quite, if Faye's horse is relaxed enough, we might be able to just move the bags and the bike and whatnot and get the horse under here with Faye, because I think that would make a really nice set of images. So I'll just write down front door. And I've got, in my mind, as I'm looking at locations, I'm actually seeing different images. So, for example, I can see Faye sat on the bench with the horse coming in from one side. I can also maybe see Faye perched down on the brickwork here with the horse sort of coming in and cuddling her, but taking into account the sort of purple flowers. I can also maybe see Faye leaning up against the door and the horse sort of standing alongside her. And as I'm shooting, so those initially just those three images, but when I'm here actually shooting, the horse will do other stuff and then more images will come. So in actual fact, this is a really nice location to use. So what we will just do is have a look round here. So again, I mean, this place has just got so much foliage. There's no shortage of greenery and nice textures. So if we needed to, I know we can go on all the gravel here. We're definitely not able to go on the lawns because they're all nicely manicured and we don't want big hoof prints. So we could possibly use this area. So I will put side of house. Now, the reason I need so many locations is that some horses will freak out at stuff that we could never predict. Even the owner might not know why the horse is just particularly this one day deciding it doesn't like a certain area. So if we've got a lot of variation, then I can keep a good flow on the shoot where it doesn't actually matter if the horse doesn't like one location, we can just move on and get more images. So we'll just carry on. So we're just coming into the yard section. Now, it's quite interesting with yards. You can get so many extremes. Some yards are brand new and they're all metal and spangly wood and they're very neat and tidy. And then you can get the complete opposite where you get yards that are very old and they're run down. And in some ways both can be beautiful in their own respects and offer great variation for photography, but this yard, it's got a whole ton of things. There's some great locations here. On first sight, as a photographer, you might walk up to this yard and go, oh my goodness, you know, there's jump stands here and I can't see anywhere to photograph. But in actual fact, if you look closely and you look in a small enough zone, you will find amazing locations within this area. So already what's caught my eye is this barn over here. First of all, we've got a great just plain wooden wall that could be used and that we could do some really nice headshots on there. So I'm going to put barn wall. Behind we've got there's also actually a set of stables over that side, but this side These stables look pretty nice. They've got overhead coverage, so I'm always keen to get the horse and the owner in a stable. Depending on what direction the stable is and where the sun is coming will determine what stable we use, but possibly one along here, or there's another block of stables just there that we could use. So the other thing that is absolutely amazing at this yard is we have a nice big barn opening where we get light flooding in the front, but it's dark behind. So this type of setup, similar to the stable, where it gives you that almost looks like a studio portrait without having to do anything crazy in post-production. You put your owner and horse under that entrance to the barn, and you get a nice fall off in the background, so it almost goes black, but the horse and owner are nicely lit. So I'm gonna put barn opening. So far, just having walked this little bit into the yard, we've got the nice wooden wall here, the opening to the barn, and the stables. So we'll keep walking and just have a look what else there is. So here on my left, there's a nice kind of old rickety type gate, and behind it, I'm always looking as well for what is behind each location, because obviously that's important with the backgrounds. So this gate here, if I was to put Faye and her horse behind it, we've got a fairly plain green background, and depending on which way I angle myself will determine whether, you know, I get any of the buildings in or not. So I'll just put old gate. I love old gates, they're great. I actually, with horses, I prefer the old rickety yards. I just think they have more character, and horses and owners, I don't know, they just look great in settings where wood is sort of getting old and got full of character, really. So we'll just keep walking up this way because there's still some more land to have a look at. So again here, you may not initially think that it would be worth photographing, but there's an old green container, which I'm going to write down, which the colours and the texture of it will just photograph really beautifully. This would probably be a bit tight to photograph on that wall, so I would probably want to photograph Faye and her horse here, and I would be in the arena shooting over the fence. And again, the sort of images that in my mind I'm getting are probably horse stood in this way, Faye stood here maybe leaning against the gate and having some nice quite tight crop. But it's pretty beautiful. It will photograph really nicely, and in post-production as well, the colours and the texture will just come up really nicely. So we'll carry on walking down towards the fields and just have a look. I'm always on the lookout for long grass and long, you know, like nice billowing foliage, just because I personally think horses and owners look nice in those settings. So if I see fields that are all, you know, just flat grass, I'm not as tempted to photograph in them. But actually, as you can see here, even in these paddocks to the side, there is quite a lot of nice long wispy grass. So we'll just try and find a nice field that we can do some shots in. All right?
Yeah, all good.
Hey?
Up the back on the left.
Is that got the most long grass?
Yeah, that's
So again here, I'm just spotted to the left. Now you wouldn't necessarily think initially to photograph in here. There's an old trailer, there's some old metal. It doesn't look like a particularly